Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel. It's Howley here, and today marks the first episode of my Theorycraft series for Scholomance Academy. So in the coming days, I'm going to be doing a Theorycraft video on each of the 10 classes in Hearthstone. Obviously Scholomance Academy is coming out in a couple days, and I've been spending the last couple of days Theorycrafting a bunch of decks for all the classes, and thought I'd show them to you guys and, you know, maybe give you something to play on day one of the expansion. A lot of these decks are going to be, you know, somewhat competitive, maybe tier 1 or tier 2 decks in the new Scholomance meta, but I also have a couple of decks in here that are a little bit more maybe meme decks, a little bit more off-meta decks that I think are going to be really fun to play and not necessarily going to be very good, but maybe a good deck to play on day one, as I said, to have some fun and, you know, get some really cool moments and cool games. So with that being said, you know, take all these decks with a pinch of salt, because obviously, you know, all of these cards haven't come out yet. It's impossible to be able to predict the meta correctly. You know, a lot of the decks I'm going to be saying probably aren't going to see play at all, but this is just what I think is going to happen. And, you know, I've obviously spent a lot of time on this as well. So let me know what you think about all my decks. And yeah, let's just jump into the video. Alright, so let's jump into the first class, guys. We're going to start off with Demon Hunter in this episode. And obviously Demon Hunter is a very strong deck. Introduced in Ashes of Outland, it was so strong that it had to be nerfed 5 times over the course of that expansion, and it's still probably a tier 1 deck right now. So obviously coming into the new expansion, they have a couple of new cards, you know, a couple of new tools at their disposal, a couple of new archetypes, and I don't think Demon Hunter is going to go away at all. The first list I want to share with you guys is just a standard Demon Hunter list. This is exactly the same, pretty much the same list as what we have now. I have cut the Cobalt Spellkins from this list because they've added 2 more 1-cost spells for Demon Hunter. So the ability, you know, the probability of getting a Twin Slice or a Mana Burn or Consume Magic now is much lower. And the 2 new spells, although they're not that bad, you know, sometimes can be a low roll. I've added the new card Ace Hunter Queen to this deck. I think this card is absolutely insane. You're going to see in most Demon Hunter and Hunter decks in the coming expansion. For sure, this card is brilliant. And apart from that, there's actually no other new cards in this deck. I've changed the list a little bit, added 1 Mana Burn for maybe a little bit of utility. But yeah, it still has the same, you know, Enrage package, I guess, with Armani Berserker, Bone True Brawler, and Guardian Orc Merchants. With the 1-drops and Beaming Psychic, obviously. We've got Frozen Shadow Weaver in there, Sato Overseer, you know, Skull of Goddard, Glaive-Bound Adept. Everything is actually exactly the same. I've only just literally added Ace Hunter Queen. So this is just, you know, the base Demon Hunter build. It's a very boring list. There's not much innovation in this. I think it's going to be incredibly strong. You know, I think if you queue this list, even after the expansion, I think it's still going to be very strong. Demon Hunter is definitely not going anywhere. So yeah, that's my take. I think this is going to be the strongest Demon Hunter list. For sure, like some sort of tempo Demon Hunter. Obviously, they have released a bunch of new cards, such as stuff like Glide. And I tried to fit Glide into a deck when I was doing my theory crafting, but I honestly just couldn't do it. I don't think that card's actually too great. I think it's a little bit overrated. You know, like theoretically, it does work really well in the tempo style, aggressive style Demon Hunter, but I couldn't end up fitting into a list, which means I think this is going to be the best list. The standard Demon Hunter that we all know and love. An alternative take on Demon Hunter is to make use of the new mechanic Soul Fragments. So if you don't know, Soul Fragments are a new kind of archetype that they introduced for Demon Hunter and Warlock. So you're going to see more of the Soul Fragments when we do that Theorycraft. But basically they are, you know, you shuffle Soul Fragments into your deck. They're a non-playable, non-collectible card that when you draw it, you're going to heal 2 to your hero and then obviously draw another card. So they kind of give, you know, these decks a little bit more healing, but also give access to, you know, a lot of these kind of new cards that make use of the Soul Fragments, right? Either by destroying one of them or you know, counting how many are in your deck and summoning certain things based on that. And one of the big payoff cards for Demon Hunter is the Soul Shard Lapidary, I think. I don't know how to say this one, to be honest. Lapidary? I don't know, but it's the Soul Shard, the 5 mana card for Demon Hunter. And when, you know, you have a Soul Fragment in your deck, this destroys one of them on the battle cry and gives your hero 5 attack. So absolutely insane for this deck. Obviously Demon Hunter wants to go face, wants to get a bunch of damage, and this works perfectly with that. Obviously, you know, you're going to have Soul Fragment in this deck. So we're running Spirit Jailer, double copy of that, which is a 1 mana 1/3 shuffle 2 Soul Fragments into your deck. And also Marrow Slicer, which is a 4 mana 4/2 weapon that has a battle cry to shuffle Soul Fragments. So with these 2 shuffles, I think it's pretty consistently, you know, you're going to have a Soul Fragment by turn 5 to make use of this card, the Soul Shard. So it's going to be absolutely insane. Is this better than the previous deck? Not completely sure, it's just a different take on it. It's a very similar deck as well, still running the Guardian Orc Merchant package with the Armani Berserker and the Bone Thrower Brawlers. We cut the Blazing Battle Mage for the Spirit Jailers. We cut the Glaiban Adept for the Soul Shards. Maybe you still want to run Glaiban Adept as well. Maybe you want to run both. Maybe that's a little bit too heavy. I'm not sure. Obviously running double Marrow Slicer. Marrow Slicer into Soul Shard is a beautiful curve as well. Allowing you to deal 9 damage on turn 5 with your face, which is insane. Obviously running still Ace Hunter Kareen. I think it's a fantastic card. Going to be pretty much used in every Demon Hunter and Hunter deck. So yeah, running Ace Hunter Kareen. And yeah, other than that, it's a pretty standard Demon Hunter list. Is it better than the last one? As I said, not sure. We're going to have to test to find out. Also running Star Student Selena in this deck. I think this is potentially a little bit slower than the previous one that we saw. So can actually make use of this card. We do need to have it outcast. It's a little bit awkward, obviously, but the information this gives us and the ability to maybe shuffle one of their removal cards back into their deck is going to be absolutely insane. So we're experimenting with this card a little bit. I'm not sure if this is going to make the final cut once the expansion comes out. But yeah, this is my take on Soul Fragment. Tempo Demon Hunter, I know you can also play it in a controlling fashion, but this is definitely more of an aggressive faction. Making use of those to kind of provide payoff for Soul Shard Lapardery. The final Demon Hunter deck that I have for you guys today is actually potentially a little bit more of a meme deck. Obviously, not as competitive as the previous two, but still making use of the Soul Shard, Soul Fragment mechanic as well. It is Big Demon Hunter. So obviously, the new Big Demon Ancient Void Hound was released, a 9-mana 10/10. At the end of your turn, I think it's like steal 1 attack and 1 health from your enemy minions. So pretty strong effect, honestly. And because they're released, it's okay, yeah, I'm going to try and make a Big Demon Hunter work. And I also decided to make use of the Soul Fragment package. We have this new card, Shard Shatter Mystic, which is a new AoE card that makes use of Soul Fragments. It says destroy Soul Fragment, deal 3 damage to all enemy minions, or I think it's actually all other minions. So yeah, deal 3 damage to all other minions. It is a Dustbreaker effect. It's a better Dustbreaker, being 1 mana cheaper. So this card could be absolutely insane, obviously for this, more of a control-y Demon Hunter style. So because of that, we're also running Soul Shear and Marrow Slicer to be able to shuffle fragments in your deck to make use of this payoff card. Also have the Sociologist Militia, which is the big payoff card of Soul Fragments. It summons 3/3 rushes based on how many fragments you have in your deck. So a lot of the time in this deck, you're not actually going to summon like a full board. You're maybe going to summon 2 or 3. There's not that many shuffles in this deck, but I think this thing is strong enough to run as a bit of removal package. As for the Demon package, we are running double Priestess of Fury, double Hulking Overfiend, obviously the Ancient Void Hound, and double Pit Commander as well. Ways to cheat that out with Fell Summoner, ways to reduce the cost with Raging Fell Screamer. So yeah, basically you want to get the big demons on the board as soon as possible and just overwhelm your opponents as you move into the late game. In the early game, you want to be controlling the board, maybe getting some more demons with Netherwalker, maybe just cycling through your deck a little bit. And just, yeah, if you're playing against aggro, you have a lot of healing with Eye Beam, with the Soul Fragments, AoE and Immolation Aura and Chaos Nova. So theoretically, this deck looks pretty solid, actually. Might be pretty good against aggro because you have, the tools to be able to deal with them now. A lot of AoE in this deck and a lot of healing. In the late game, you do have a lot of potential with the big demons. Sometimes it's not going to be enough if you're playing like a super value matchup. I feel like there are going to be decks which are just going to outvalue you, going to be able to deal with all your threats, and then you're going to run out. So there's not really a way to resurrect demons in this deck. So that might be the short straw for this deck. It might not have enough value, but yeah, I think this looks like a pretty fun deck. And honestly, I think it might be pretty good as well. Is it going to be tier 1, tier 2? Probably not. But is it going to be a fun deck to play? Absolutely. And it's a deck that I'm definitely going to be trying out when the expansion comes out. And that is going to be it for this video. There's going to be a lot more Theorycraft videos coming out in the next couple of days. There's going to be a ton of videos. Got to get them all out before the expansion comes out on Thursday. I'm very excited for that, guys. Let me know if you enjoyed this episode. Let me know what Demon Hunter decks you think are going to be viable in the next expansion. Do you like my deck list? Do you not? If not, why? Let me know your opinions in the comment section down below. And yeah, I'll see you on my next theory crafting video very soon. Goodbye, guys.